Alrighty, folks, welcome back to Operation Tirpitz of Global War 1936. This is Deathedist here with the KMT USA Turn 7. But before we get into that, I have a little bit of housekeeping. Um, Juggling between TTS and a physical board is a bit of a challenge, and so what we're going to start doing is doing unit recaps of the big stacks of units and where they are, just to help keep things easier for Seb and then for Shadow as they translate back and forth between boards and Tabletop Simulator. To begin with, from the British turn, these are either moves that he made and didn't get marked on TTS, or forgot to make and asked to do so afterwards, but before the next turn came out. Seb had asked to move the Polish fighter from Warsaw to East Poland. We also had a mix-up with where a submarine was. The one that he went after wasn't actually in the sea zone he thought it was, so this seaplane is actually going to get moved up to Sierra Leone. Then the French ships in A44 are going to move to A48. That's a TBD and a destroyer. And then finally, there was a militia and a AAA in London that he wanted moved out to southern England. All right. Then we're going to come on over here and look at the strategic objectives board here, because a few things have changed and we want to update that. Paris is no longer controlled by the French. It is now controlled by the Germans. All right, and then Calcutta is no longer controlled by the FEC. It's now controlled by the Japanese. So that also down here, we have marked that the US has sphere of influence, triumph of capitalism. I don't believe we have triumph of capitalism at this point, because that is 38 plus 28. And that has to be, sorry, I should have done my research on this. Triumph of capitalism. Oh, USA is not at war with a major power. That makes that really easy. So we do not have triumph of capitalism right now. But we do have the Big Blue Fleet. Just for now, because the majority of Japan's fleet is no longer in the Pacific Ocean, it's in the Indian Ocean. So they have a pair of light cruisers over here in the Pacific, whereas the US, oh, I might not have Big Blue Fleet. Two battleships, a heavy cruiser, destroyers, transport. Ooh. Do destroyers count for that? I apologize, y'all. This is now a rambling turn, but this will change my buys. Undamaged capital ships. I'm not sure if destroyers count as capital ships or not. I don't think they do. In any case, I only have 3 undamaged capital ships in the Pacific, not 4. So that does change my purchases. Interesting. Yeah, because those are destroyers. I thought I had a light cruiser. Apologies, folks. So we don't have Big Blue Fleet either. That changes things. All right. Spanish Civil War did get won by the Germans. Italy doesn't have any of theirs. I don't believe Japan has any of theirs yet. Once they take Malaya, they'll have Asia for Asians. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Well, technically, Italy isn't in the war yet, so their thing doesn't count for having Rome. So that's 1, 2. Oh, Nanking also is controlled by Japan. Okay, now I think I have it updated. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the Axis. There's Moscow, Stalingrad, and propaganda war for the Soviets. And the Allies have London, Sydney, African colonialism, sun never sets, and sphere of influence. So that's only 6 for the Allies. If I made a mistake, please let me know. None of these actually matter until the end of the game, but it's nice to keep track of where things are sitting as the situation progresses. We'll move into the KMT turn. We have very little going on this turn. The KMT has $3 to spend. They will spend all $3 on 1 infantry. We will then just take that with us on up because you guessed it, we're not gonna do any more combat moves. That went horribly with those cavalry. The odds were on my side, and then it said nope. So I'm just gonna move this cavalry into Yunnan, and then build the infantry in Yunnan. So at this point in time, we have 10 infantry in Yunnan. We also have this clump here. Sorry, I'm going to organize it as I do my unit recap. So 10 infantry in Yunnan for the KMT, along with 7 militia, 2 mountain infantry, 2 cavalry, and 3 anti-aircraft guns. All right, and then they will collect $1. Burma Road is closed, so the KMT only collects $1. And we move on to the United States turn. For the US, alrighty. Let me do that math again real quick, because they had 2 capital ships over here. Light cruiser, yes. Man, I thought I had Big Blue Fleet. Apologies, everyone. For the US turn, we do get our income increase roll. We get to start those now. We are going to purchase, or we rolled on TTS, and not TTS, on Discord, and I got a 9. So we're going to go from 38 up to 47. That's a small consolation prize after that Japanese attack didn't really do much for us. Still a long ways to go to get to that 63 we need. Then we move on to tech rolls. I rolled for 7 techs and got a 4 for improved construction, so that failed. I got a 4 for amphibious doctrine, so that failed. I rolled a 2 for jet fighters, so that failed. But then I rolled an 11 for long-range aircraft, so that's going to move up to stage 2. I also rolled an 8 for large ship construction. That'll be my first tech at stage 3. I rolled a 1 for heavy strategic bombers, and then I rolled a 10 for strategic rockets, so that will move up to stage 2. 3 for 4 is not bad, especially when 2 of them were the expensive techs. Okay, we're going to move on to purchases. This is the last turn that cavalry are available. So I'm going to purchase a French cavalry to Lend-Lease to Free France. I don't actually have to declare who I'm sending Lend-Lease to, but I'm going to. At any point, if any of the Axis powers wants to declare war on me to try and interdict Lend-Lease, please feel free to do so. So that's $3. Then I'm going to Lend-Lease a British fighter. Not jet fighter, regular fighter. For $10. Apologies. That leaves me with $10 more. Ooh, decisions to make. Very difficult decisions to make. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase 2 Marines for 8. And then save $3. You know what? I also want an American cavalry. Just for shits and giggles. And that will round out. Nope, that's... Math doesn't work. 10 minus 8 is 2. So I will be saving those $2. Goodness gracious. Alright, the US has 0 combat moves. We're not at war, but we have a lot of non-combat moves. So we'll get right into that real quick here. In the Pacific, we're going to move this destroyer from the Philippines. It is at a major naval facility. So it'll get 1, 2, 3, 4 movement and end next to Wake Island. That is a US land zone. I can now move my ships as long as they end by a US land zone in the Pacific. The transport doesn't have the same movement as the destroyer, so it can only go 1, 2 and hang out next to Guam. Japan, please feel free to take it out if you want to. I would love to be in the war. Alrighty. Over here, we're going to move these 2 coastal submarines from P-25 up 1 into P-13. Still next to a US land zone. Then we're going to do a transport swap where we take the transport in Hawaii back to San Fran and the one in San Fran back to Hawaii. And when we do that, we're going to bring 2 Marines from San Francisco to Hawaii. Or from San Francisco and southern United States to Hawaii. Then we're also going to fly this tactical bomber 1, 2, 3, 4 over to Hawaii as well. Okay, that's it for the... Just kidding. I also have a strategic rail movement of this light tank from San Francisco. It's going to move all the way over to New York. New York, New York. All right. Then on this side... Oh, shoot balls. Apologies. I forgot that escort duty is technically combat move, I think. So I do have a bunch of transports that will be going on escort duty. We'll be putting one on escort duty into A-20, A-19, A-18, and then the 4th transport will be into A-27 right here. And the 5th transport will be in A-37 at the convergence of my lines. Or, sorry, not A-37, A-30 on this line here. So I have all of those down. For these over here, we're moving 1, 2, 3 to A-20, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 1, 2. There should be a transit destroyer right there. I can move 1, 2, 3 out to A-27. And then the last one is here next to the Gulf of Mexico. It'll move 1, 2 and go on escort duty here. Alrighty. For the rest of the American ships, we're going to move these 2 coastal subs from A-30 down to A-37. We're going to fly this medium bomber up to New York. We're going to fly the tactical bomber up to New York. And we're going to fly the fighter up to New York. We're also going to move this infantry via rail to, you guessed it, New York. The seaplane is going to fly down to yeah, we're going to land it in Puerto Rico. Alrighty. And then the rest of these boats are going to come down here to make a nice big fleet in A-40, which is next to Cuba, which I think counts as American soil. I'm pretty sure. Oh, just kidding. Panama is American. Yeah. It is legal. So we'll have 2 battleships down there. Those are both. Oh, there's another destroyer. Hot dog. I didn't realize I had another destroyer. That's exciting. This destroyer is going to move 1, 2, 3 and go on escort duty in A-25. The transports will actually move into port in this major shipyard here off of New York. So there's one that was already in there, and then another one coming from the Gulf of Mexico on up. Just kidding. Let me double check my notes. This is a big turn for the US. Most I've gotten to do all game, so I want to make sure I do it correctly. Okay. I was wrong. I want one of these transports down here with this fleet off of A40. The heavy cruiser, the light cruiser are coming down here. The carrier is also moving down to A40. This last transport is moving up to New York. All right, militia is staying in DC. That should be all of my non-combat moves. I know, that was a lot. We'll now place units. The 2 Marines are going on the west coast here, over in San Francisco. The Lend-Lease is going to be delivered. The fighter is being delivered to London, and the cavalry is being delivered to Cameroon, the new Free French capital. Again, please feel free to try to interdict Lend-Lease if you like. Beans. You're welcome to do so. Finally, we will move to the collect income phase, and the US will collect a nice 47 IPP, plus the 2 that were saved will put me at 49. All right, now I'm gonna do, that's the end of my turn officially. I just have to do some cleanup of the board. I need to remove the damage markers from convoy lines. Let's see, any others? Yep. All right, convoy line damage markers are removed. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact is still in effect, so Germany will gain $5 more. And Russia will gain $3. The Russians also get their tech roll, which I'm just going to double check on Discord real quick, but I'm like 90% sure it's improved factories. Yes, improved factories for their extra bonus tech roll. So this will hit on a 7 or higher. That's a 5. It unfortunately misses. I guess unfortunate for the Soviets. Alrighty. Lastly, I want to do a quick recap of units in C-Zone A40 next to the Panama Canal. There's 1 aircraft carrier, 2 battleships, a heavy cruiser, a light cruiser, and a transport. In New York, there is a tactical bomber, a fighter, a medium bomber, a light tank, 2 infantry, a militia, and an artillery. And those are really the only big stacks that the US has. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I look forward to the next turn. Bye now.